Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emmanuel. I am your instructor on this Excel course. Alright, if this is the first time watching my video, I'd like you to subscribe to the channel and like the video to get to a wider audience and a greater reach. Okay, right on my screen here I have an Excel sheet from a supermarket, and it's a supermarket sales data. Okay, of course everybody knows how supermarket works. People goes in and they purchase a particular item and they pay for it, they go out, isn't it? So this is just the kind of data that is being generated, and believe you, anybody running a supermarket that works on data to see a sales record, that supermarket it will be one of the supermarket that is going to thrive, because you are making reference towards data and interpreting what people are buying the most, what people like to buy the most. So this is exactly what I have here on my screen. So I usually advise my student, before you go on to analyze any data, make sure you understand the data. You can see this data in this particular Excel sheet, where you have city as column, the first column, customer type, gender, product line, unit price, quantity, total sales, and payment. Okay, this city represents the city whereby your different customers are what's coming from. Okay, and this member could be anything. It could be a member of a particular maybe a regular member, that's or a regular buyer customer that you use member for. So this gender represents the gender of the person who is buying, and this product line represents the product the person is buying. The unit price is 24 and the quantity is 48. All right, and we are not being given total sales, and we are also being given what? Payment method, which is e-cash. So this is just basically a sales data from a supermarket. Now here are the questions that accompany this data. These are the questions right here. It said, in a spreadsheet contains sample data from supermarket for sales in 2019. Kindly go through each column before attempting the question. So we have gone through each column in that spreadsheet, right? So, and we have these 3 questions. Of course there are up to 7 questions. Well, I want to break this tutorial into 2 videos, okay, where the first part I'll handle the first 3 questions, and the next part I'll handle the next 4 questions. So we'll be looking at the first 3 questions. So this other part I'll create a separate video for it. I don't want to bombard everything into one. If not, people who are just getting used to the course for the first time may not find their way too easy through it. Okay, but let's take it bit by bit by answering the 3 questions. When we answer the 3 questions, I'll create another video whereby I'll also answer the remaining 4 questions. Now, without wasting much time, we all understand what kind of data it is, and we have here the first question: determine the total income. Okay, this is supposed to be total sales, rather, not total income. Total sales generated by the supermarket in the year 2019. Let's make reference to our spreadsheet data. Okay, this is our spreadsheet data. You can find that all columns are computed except column for what? Total sales, and this is the column for total sales. How do we get our total sales? If we have a unit price of health and beauty products to be 24 naira and we have the quantity to be 48, how do we get the total sales? Is multiplying 24 naira by what? 48. Then we can now get the total sales. Or of course, that is how it works. But that will just give us sales for only the product on the first row. Okay, so when you want to compute for total overall sales, that's why we have to scroll down and use a particular Excel function. So the first thing I'd like to show you is, of course, you understand when I mean unit price, selling the price of one product and the quantity of that product. Having these 2 variables, you can determine the sales, the total sales of that product. It's just like having, what should I use as an example? Just like having my phones right here. I don't know if you can see this, my phones. Then I can choose to sell this one at 70,000. I can choose to sell this one at 10,000. But at the end of the day, if I end up selling the 2 phones, the total money I'm going to have in my hand is what? 70,000 plus what? 10,000, which is what? 80,000. So that's just what is going on here. And the quantity I have is just one single phone. If I had two, I would just multiply the bigger phone. If I had two of it, I'll multiply the bigger phone by what? Two. If I had two of the or three of the smaller phones, I'll multiply the number of smaller phones by what? Three, knowing I'm getting what? 30,000 from it if I sell everything, and the bigger phones by two, knowing I'm getting what? Two times 70,000 means what? 140,000. So this is just the logic behind this particular computation. Okay, so at the end of the day, if I sell everything, I'm having 140,000 plus what? 30,000, which is going to give me 70,000. It's the same thing that plays in right here. There's a particular product known as health and beauty, and the unit price for one of it is 24 naira, and the quantity in stock is 48. So the total amount of money that will be generated from that sales is what? 24 times 48. So we can, instead of multiplying 24 by 48, a Excel spreadsheet will help us do that. Just say is equals to, what is the reference for the cell? E2, because it's in column E and what? Row 2. All right, so we now say, sorry about that, we now say is equals to E2 times F2. E2, the moment you call a cell, you can see that cell will be highlighted. E2 times F2, right? Okay, then we now hit the enter button. So this is the total of what we generated from what? The sale of this product. This is just a sample data. Okay, it might not really be a real product. All right, so for us to, instead of you doing the same, entering the same formula for the next one, which is E3 times what? F3, that's what we're saying is equals to E3 times F3. We hit the enter button. So instead of we doing all of this, okay, we can just use autocomplete. Autocomplete simply means you highlight the first cell or the second one, and we want it to complete the remaining parts using the same strategy. All right, so what you do is just to click on it here and scroll down to the very last part. Yeah, this data set is up to 1,000, so you just have to do that fast. Okay, yes, this is where it stops. So you can see all prices have been computed for the sales of each of these products. All right, now the question says determine the total sales generated by a supermarket in the year 2019. This is not just the total sales. What we just did is not the total sales. Okay, the total sales is when we go and add the overall of everything. Remember, you sold health and beauty product, right? In the city, for someone in Yangon, you sold health and beauty product, isn't it? Do you know that there are other health and beauty products too? So we want to add up everything to see the total sales generated by that supermarket in 2019. Okay, so what I used to do, I'll scroll down to the last point where I have that. Then I'm going to use a sum function, so I can put here total sales. Okay, if I like to make it big, I can just make it big. I'm not going to use a sum function to I'll just say is equals to sum. What is the range I want to cover? G2. If I scroll up, this data set starts from 2, row 2, G2 ratio G 1001. That includes the bracket. So this is the total sales, 1.3 million, that was generated in 2019. Okay, I know some people tell me there were some expenses made and blah blah blah. We are working according to the questions asked in this data set. Okay, you can now see why I said in the earlier part of this video that people who sell in supermarkets, they make use of Excel to do what? Interpret the data of sales. You can check. Someone who has gone through this now will see that, oh, he made 1.3 million in the previous year, in 2019. In 2020, you can see if he's making above that. In 2021, you can see if he's making above that or below. 2022, then at the end of the day, you can now have a chart that will show you the progress of how your business has been running. So it's wise for us to understand how business has been running, especially as a retailer in the supermarket. All right, so that's the first question. We've answered the first question, which is determine the total sales generated by a supermarket in 2019. All right, guys, Let's go to the next question. The next question says, let's go to the next question, guys. The next question says, how many quantities of items were sold for the year? How many quantities of items were sold for the year? Okay, let's scroll up back to see which column answers that question. This is the quantity of items that were sold for the year. It's under the F column where you find quantities. So if you scroll down there and still go and use the same sum function, it's going to work. So I could just say, yeah, sum of quantities. You can choose to put it anywhere. Sum of quantities. You can create a new worksheet and put it. Sum of quantities equals to sum. We are using a sum function. Is equals to sum, bracket open, f2 f1001. You understand how we got f1 f2 is the where we are starting from. The f1001 is where we are ending. The moment you call the cell like that, it gets highlighted. So 23,351 items were sold. All right, I can choose to make this one bold if I want to. Yes, that's right. Okay, the next question says, compare the males to the females that live in the city of Yangon. Who patronizes health and beauty products the more? This is a very intellectual question that would aid retailers who sell in the supermarket to have knowledge of which products is selling more in their what supermarket. All right. So the question says, compare the males to the females that live in the city of Yangon. Pay attention, we are dealing with two things now. We are dealing with sex and city. So go back to your data set and find out which will answer that question. Determine the males that live in the city of Yangon. So city is part of Yangon, is part of the city. Okay, these are males that lives in different places, different cities that came to buy from the supermarket. So determine the males that live in city of Yangon. Remember, you are dealing with males, so gender column will answer that question, and city column is going to also answer that question. I don't know if you understand what I'm explaining. The question is saying, let me get back to the question. The question said, compare the males to the females. Okay, let me bold this. Compare the males to the female that live in the city called Yangon. You understand? So we are dealing with two things: gender and what? City. That is how you answer your Excel questions. Look at the column that answers the question you are being asked. This typical question you are being asked has to do with city. This is where you can find Yangon. If you scroll down, you see Yangon in some places. And gender determines what? The male or female. So we are being asked that we should compare the males to the females that live in the city of Yangon, who patronizes health and beauty products the more. Oh, we even have a third variable, health and beauty products. So we are going to filter out Yangon, we'll filter out males, and we'll filter out health and beauty products. Then I'll find out the total number of males that are buying health and beauty products, and we'll find out the total number of females that are buying health and beauty products. Let's see if the males are more than the females. So these are kind of intellectual questions that comes to us, your data. So we are dealing with three columns. The last one is the product line, which talks about health and beauty products. So if first thing you want to do is to filter this kind of question, you filter them out. Okay, so how can you filter? You click on the first row to make sure everything is active for filtering. Then you come to where you have, go to home tab and come to where you have sort and filter. So you click on it and select what? Filter. The moment you see these down arrows pointing each column, you know that yes, you are ready for what? Filtering. Now the first thing you want to filter out is all customers from the city of Yangon. So we'll deselect all and select only Yangon and click on OK. All right, so all of this is only Yangon that is showing. Now we want to first of all determine for the males. How many males are buying health and beauty products? Let's determine for males first. Let's click on males. So these are the males. Sorry, I still clicked on male and female. I need only male. So it's going to show me only male from Yangon. All of these are Yangons. All of these are only the males from what? The Yangons. Now the last thing we want to do is to check. We'll come back and do for females. The last thing we want to do is to check the product line. It's only health and beauty products we are dealing with, so we'll deselect all and select only health and beauty. We want to see if the men used to do shakara pass the women. You know, when you use health and beauty products to show that your skin is fine, and you do shakara and fine boy all around and be disturbing people here. So let's click OK. So these are the males that buys health and beauty products from Yangon. Let us know the total number of the males. How can we determine the total number of the males? Determine total number of males. Total number males. How can we determine the total number of the males? We can determine this by using what is a subtotal function. A subtotal function counts the available filtered data, the visible data, okay, after you filtered. And what is the visible data? Yangon, male, and health and beauty product. So we are not going to count health and beauty product because the question is not asking us health and beauty product. The question is asking us if you compare the males and the females that purchase health and beauty product, which one is what's more? So what you need to do, just say is equals to subtotal brackets. Let's know our cell range. Yes, let's know our cell range. I used to advise the moment you filter, please go back and go and turn it off. So our cell range is starting from C5 towards C938. So subtotal 103 means we are counting the visible columns. C5, C938, 983 rather. Then we click the enter button. Then we hit the enter button. 26 males purchase what? Purchase health and beauty products in 2019. So let's just keep that figure aside. Okay, let's just come here and keep it aside. Say 26 for males. Okay, let's do for females now and see. So now we have done what? Turn on our filter. We are going to do for females. We don't need the males. Okay, let's click the males. Now if you do for females, okay, the cell range is going to differ. This is the cell range C5, and let's go. Can you see C5 here? No, it starts from what? C2. So the range is going to be C2 ratio C970. C2 C970. Okay, then we hit the enter button. 21 females. 21 females against how many males? 26. 21 females. So you can now say that even males in this place, they like males in this particular city called Yangon, they can do shakara very well. You understand? They patronize health and beauty product. All this male they do fine boy. So these are the kind of information you get from data sets. So guys, we've been able to solve and answer the questions 1, 2, 3. All right, if you have any questions, you can DM me so I can make it clear to you. If you are yet to subscribe to the channel, kindly hit the subscribe button. If this is what you want to do and this is what you want to learn for free, you kindly hit the subscribe button and also like the videos to get to a wider audience and wider reach. I'll be expecting your feedbacks and your questions in the comment section of the video. Shout out to everybody. Catch you.